Always learning and growing. Attracting the right people and keeping your vision in focus every day. This is the Brian Covey Show.
Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly webinar, and I appreciate everybody making time today. I'm super excited because we've got somebody that rivals and probably has more energy than me, and you guys are going to get a chance to hear from somebody outside of our space, outside of mortgage. And Ricky Carruth, I sent you guys just a promo video. You could see who he was. We connected up last year, actually in Birmingham, Alabama, and he was speaking to a group of Keller Williams agents, and I was kind of drawn in and started really to engage with him there. And what drew me in was, one, just the authenticity of who he was as a person. He knew who he was, knew what he wanted to do. But at the same time, there was a little bit of grit and grind that I felt like, okay, that resonates with our team. Somebody that's just hustling and getting it after it every day. And he's now moved from being not just a successful real estate agent, one of the top agents in Alabama, sells over 100 homes a year, helping people. If you watch how he's helping people right now buy and sell property, even during this season, he shifted his business. So you can see the extra that he's doing is he's actually now coaching. And it's the first real free platform that real estate agents can come on board. And the Zero to Diamond, you got to check him out. We'll send you the links on Instagram and then his YouTube channel. But it has things today that you could add value to your real estate agents. And what Ricky has done, I thought back, I was listening to your story again this morning. And in 2008, everything crashed for us as well. And we had our second child. And I remember looking back, dark times. Like, my job got eliminated. Everything was falling apart. Everything I thought I knew and had held on to fell apart. And through that adversity, I see guys like you have really stepped out, and now you're just leading through. And you mentioned this morning, things haven't really changed for you. And I thought that was pretty cool. So guys, we'll share some things as we go through today. If you've got questions, jump in the chat box. But I'm excited because not only do we get to hear from Ricky what he's been doing with his career and things, but just have a conversation about today, what are some of those things to drown out the noise, drown out the things that are kind of pulling us away from fundamentals to be successful. And you can see Ricky's done that through plenty of markets. And man, I love your energy, love your heart for just serving and helping people, dude.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for that little intro, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, give us a little life in your world. We're all, I think, kind of interested as to what's changed for people. And we were talking about that this morning. So for you, last month or so, working from home, you guys moved houses, you've done a bunch of stuff. What would you say has changed, and what's kind of stayed the same for you throughout this process?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to say there, really, but like normally in March, I'll sell about 30 properties. So this March I sold 2. Okay. So big difference there. But if you look at, if you look at the way that businesses really should be conducted, there should be no downtime, right? There's an unlimited amount of things to do. You can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life and never even scratch the surface for what there is to do. And it doesn't matter what the market is doing, it goes for any market. And so, like when the market's great, you're still going to have these little downtime moments. Maybe you show property in the morning or whatever mortgage brokers do in the morning. And then, you kind of don't have anything on your books in the evening. Well, what do we do in that downtime? We're going to do something that involves building our business. There's an unlimited amount of activities that can be conducted forever to build our business. And so, even when the market's great, we have seasons, right? We have summer seasons and winter seasons and fall and spring. And some markets are busier in different seasons and slower in other seasons. So what do you do in the slow seasons, right? You have to adjust through the year. Even in great markets, the year is up and down in terms of business. You have to adjust your business accordingly through the years. Well, it's the same thing as what we're going through now. We're just going through a down season, right now instead of in the winter or whatever the case may be. And so what do we do to fill up that void, that empty space in our time? What do we do to stay busy? And it's literally just talking to more potential customers, past customers, deepening those relationships, creating more relationships. Market share equals the percentage of real relationships you have with potential clients in your niche. Market share equals the percentage of real lifelong relationships of people you've actually talked to voice to voice and you're building brand with digitally. It's the percentage of the customers that are in your niche, in your market, that you have that relationship with online, digitally, voice to voice, all the above, right? Yeah. And so, most people look at market share in terms of how many closings they had, or how many pendings they have, or how much this, or how much that. And all those are okay metrics to look at. But that tells me very little about your business. That tells me a little bit about the results you're getting, but I want to know what direction your business is going from here. That tells me where you are right now, but where are you going here, the year after, and the year after? And so then I need to dig deeper and say, okay, now how many people are you reaching out to per day, right? The amount of people that you're reaching out to tells me where your work ethic is. How consistently, how long have you been reaching out to people? Are you doing it every day? And how many people are you trying to reach out to? Okay, that tells me where work ethic is. Then out of that number, how many people are you talking to? Because some people aren't going to answer, aren't going to respond, and so forth. Okay, so I want to know how many you're trying to contact. That gives me your work ethic. Then I want to know how many you're actually communicating with out of that, right? And then out of that number, how many are you connecting with? Right? How many are you actually connecting with and creating a connection with, making them feel comfortable, giving them that FE, I call it, friend or family effect, making them feel like they're your mom, dad, brother, or cousin, right? How many people are you creating that like extended family atmosphere for in your business? That's going to tell me where your communication skills are.
Yes.
So I want to know where your work ethic is, and I want to know where your communication skills are. And then I want to know how you're building brand with those people that you did have that connection with. That's going to tell me really what your business is really all about.
Yeah, and where you're going. And I think that's critical. So you hit on those. What would you suggest today? Because I know real estate agents probably aren't different than mortgage consultants today. We're still contacting people. We're still trying to help people with their needs. So what would be some of the activities that you're seeing today or that you would recommend to make sure that you are creating that kind of family effect of that? That's something that's going to stick. What are the things that you're doing? Because I know you're big on, you're making a lot of calls. Is there anything that you're doing that you're seeing is working better than others right now while people are home? And you mentioned digital and some things. What's working?
Well, I did a live call session 2 weeks ago on YouTube. People should go there and watch that. And there's not, I don't really know of any coaches or anybody really that's making real live calls. Like they're doing calls and editing it and posting it later, but live calls, I don't think so. So you can go there and watch real time stuff, for how people are reacting, how the phone calls are going, what I'm saying to people, how I'm making them feel, what my tone is, speed of voice, all those things. Yeah. I think it all just comes down to intentions, right? And through your intentions, it creates a situation where you can communicate who you are, right? Like who you are as a person. That's what people want. They want you. They don't want a robot. They don't want a script. They don't want to know how to cook shrimp etouffee and, how to paint color to paint your walls in the fall. They don't care about all that. They want to know how you make them feel when you talk to them voice to voice.
Yeah.
See, too many people are discounting this voice to voice interaction, because of the digital world that we're in. Everybody's leaning so hard on the digital and it's taken away from the verbal, right? And the verbal is where you win or lose. Because you can go digital all day. You can create all these relationships online. But then when it comes time to do a deal, what do we have to do? Talk to them.
Yeah.
So when we talk to them, if we don't know how to communicate, you could do a great job digitally. But once you talk to them, if you're not great or you're nervous or you this or you that or you don't know how to talk, then you could lose them. And all that digital went down the tubes.
Yeah.
Right. And so we got to work on our skills of this voice to voice communication to make people feel comfortable with us. This is our number one job in sales for a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, any salesman, a car salesman, an insurance, travel agent, anything. is to create a comfortable situation between you and the potential customer. Because if we want to close deals, we want to get deals in the pipeline, we want to have pending things and all this stuff, but you're not going to get to any of that at all if they don't feel comfortable with you.
100%.
So this comfort level becomes the number one job. Yeah. Your absolute number one job in the world. Okay. And it has to be done voice to voice. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about tone. So, what am I doing? I'm talking to as many people as I can. I mean, it's real simple, man. Like everybody's looking for this secret, or what's this guy doing that's doing all these deals, or, how do we do this? How do we scale business? How do we really take it to the next level? You literally just talk to more people than anybody else with the best intentions, and just talk to them like they're your mom, dad, brother, or cousin, and you just want to open up the conversation. Once they start talking to you, once you get them talking, that means they feel comfortable with you. And you never know where that's going to lead. So many people are trying to get to the objective of the call, like the deal, and they're like the real objective of a script or a call is just to open up the conversation and then just see where it goes. You don't know where it's going to go.
I love that, because I think that is the intention. And to your point, I've often found the more calls you make and you get in a rhythm of making calls, you get better. You realize you can almost self-assess and audit that previous call. Did it go well? Where did I connect? And I often find where our stories can intersect, people connect up with us. And right now, I think it's a great time for us to be reaching out. Because not only, look, I think people are going to continue to buy. We've seen that. But there are people that will refinance. Maybe they'll be on the sideline. But they need somebody they can trust. If we don't call, somebody's going to call them. That's the way I think, right? Someone's going to call them.
This is the best time in history. The best time in history. If you watch that live call session I did, they were talking to me for like 20 minutes. Like they just kept on and on and on. I literally picked up a book and started acting like I was reading, because they were just talking and talking and talking. People are dying to talk to people right now. They're just waiting by the phone. I hope a real estate agent or mortgage broker calls me any minute. They're just sitting there just waiting on you to call. And once you start making some calls, you realize how addicting it is because of how productive it is and how much people really do need to hear from you. They need your help. They're sitting there waiting. And when you decide, okay, or there may be people like, oh, here we go, another cold calling guy. Nah, that's not really the case, because let me go back to, okay, we do digital and we get leads digitally. Now, what do we have to do with those leads once we get them? We got to call them.
Yeah, you got to contact them.
We have to call them, right? So I'm not talking about just cold calls. I'm not talking about just, any kind of call that you want to try to, that people might want to say, oh, he's just this. I know that this is what I am as a communicator. I don't care where you get your leads from. What do I think is best? What I think is best is to get a list of property owners who own the exact properties you want to do business with. The exact people that own the exact properties, not even the type of property, the exact house that you want to mortgage or you want to refinance. That's the exact person. I would rather have a list of those people who all own the exact properties that I want to do business with and just sit in a dark room in the corner and call people 15 hours a day. I mean, if you can tell me something better and more productive than just sitting in a room and calling people. And if you're scared to make calls, I mean, you got to say, okay, well, what is better? Number one. Number two, do I have a family that I need to provide for? Because if I'm sitting around and I have kids, but I'm scared to make a phone call because I don't want to get rejected, then you're literally letting your child down, from living a better life. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the path to the most success. Sure, you can be semi-successul, but who wants to be less than they could be? You know what I mean?
No.
So just close your eyes, hit the dial button and go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I love that. And we get a lot of those leads. And so what we're trying to figure out is we're adapting to that now, where we don't see people and we are making these calls, and you've been talking about it. I'm going to promote that. I want everybody to check out the YouTube to see the live calls and to see how you interact, because I think that will help right now. Let's shift over to, I know our team is also trying to add value to local real estate agents that they would like to deepen relationships with, or maybe, Ricky, they've never worked with them before and it's their first time calling them. What advice would you give some of the folks on the call that they're reaching out to real estate agents? And let's take the group they haven't really worked a lot with.
Yeah. So just straight cold call, you mean?
Yeah.
Either way, it's the same conversation, bro. It's the same conversation. And it's the same conversation when the market's great, right? It's what can I do for you? But it goes like this. Hey, it's Ricky. How you doing? Cool. Yeah, I've been working out of my house for the last month. This is crazy, isn't it? And then boom, they're going to start talking to you forever about this Corona thing, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, it's like, well, listen, man, I understand. You'll have a conversation about that. You'll tell them your war stories. They'll tell you theirs, like everything crazy. Yeah. And then we'll come to the end of that part of the call. And then here we go. Here's the transition. Well, cool. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but okay, that's the transition.
Yep.
Cool. Look, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but, and then from there, it can be anything. You could say, I'm refinancing a bunch of houses because interest rates are so low. Didn't know if there's anything in the world I could do for you. You could say, I've sold a couple houses in the area. What I said on those calls was I said, the market is really slow, but I have sold a couple things here and there, so it's not totally dead. And I was just wondering if there's anything in the world I could do for you. Boom. I'm not asking them to sell. I'm not asking them to buy, right? I've had a pleasant conversation with them. I'm not trying to take up too much of their time, but here's some market information, and I didn't know if there's anything I could do for you today.
How simple.
Butter.
Right?
It's butter.
I love it. It's real. It connects with people. And some of my best friends that they did sell real estate, they told me the last couple of days, I was just asking them, kind of prepping for the call. They're like, Brian, no one's calling us on the mortgage side, by the way. Nobody's calling us.
Oh.
Really? I was like, nobody's calling you? They're like, yeah. The people that normally would have called and they love to go have coffee with me, or they like to take me to lunch, or they would show up, and try to do the sales meetings, they're gone.
Dude, let me tell you, man, like I said, when I said the best time in history to make calls, it's for a couple reasons. One, everybody's sitting around waiting on somebody to call. They want to talk to any human being out there, right? Number one. Number two, because nobody is making calls, because no other agents, no other mortgage people, nobody is making calls, it opens up this is the time in history right here where you close the gap. Like if you want to be the top producer, you want to be number one in your state or your market or whatever, this is your moment. Because what you have to do is you have to work harder than whoever the top agent or mortgage person is. Okay, what you have to do is, okay, they're here and you're here, and you want to close the gap, right? So how do we close the gap? We close the gap by outworking that person, right? So when they're working, when the market's good, it's kind of hard because they got a lot of business coming in, you're working, But when the market's totally dead and they're just not making calls, laying around, this is the moment where you can really catch up to them.
Yes.
And remember what I said about market share. It's the percentage of relationships with the highest percentage of potential customers in your market. Okay, that's what we're going for. Okay, how can we get to where we have more relationships in the market with potential customers than everybody else? That's how you become the top mortgage person, real estate agent, whatever, is becoming that salesperson who has the most relationships with potential clients in the market. And so what better time than right now to call people and ask them how they're doing through this, see what you can do to help them and establish that relationship. So as soon as you say, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but okay, I'm doing a lot of refinances right now with these interest rates, even though this virus thing is going on, just didn't know if there's anything I could do to help you. Okay, no, not right now. Well, cool. Is there a mortgage person in the area, or is there a mortgage or lender that you work with when you normally do stuff? No? Well, I'm sure at some point you're going to refinance, buy a new house, do something. I would love the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Would it be all right if I just stayed in touch with you? Just stayed in touch. That's it. Nothing crazy. Oh, I can? Cool. What's your best email address? Is this your cell phone number? And then bam, dude, now you're cooking with grease, dude. You literally right now at this point, look at where you are. You didn't sell anything, right? Nothing sold. This was a cold prospect. Most coaches would say, throw that one away. Only deal with people who are ready to buy right now, right? Yeah. Throw that away. You only want motivated people. No. This is how the very, very highest of producers and people like get where I am is by creating relationships with everyone. They are going to buy or sell something at some point in their life. Okay, period. The only difference is who they're going to choose as their agent. Right?
Yes.
You have this precious moment in time where you're talking to them anyway. Why not go ahead and establish a relationship with them for the future while you're looking for somebody who wants to do something now? See, that's the beauty of this. As you're making these calls, you're going to find people that want to do business now. Most people want to do business later, right? So you're building your business short and long term at the same time. What's more efficient? Well, again, let me ask you, Brian, what is better? Anybody on the panel, anybody in the universe, please send me as soon as I find something better, I'm going to switch over my entire game plan. As soon as somebody tells me something better than this.
Yeah, which they won't be able to because Jessica validated. She sent a note in the chat box. She's like, she's keeping up with her agents and she's been able to do 2 refinances for their personal homes. You talk about building a relationship. She's adding value, saving money, providing a service to them. And to your point, all the while, yes, there was a short-term win, but I bet she called more than 2, right? She didn't just call 2 agents and get lucky.
Right.
She probably called through them all. So I love that. And I think you're right because where we tend to miss is that building a relationship. And it's like we've been talking about. This whole group came into refinance in March. It was chaos. There's a whole lot of people that didn't. And they just said, hey, the time wasn't right. I'm not there. But building that relationship. And so I love how you followed up with people. I know you do email drips. I would love to know you're making phone calls, you're doing emails. I mean, I see you on social media. So I would love your take on, I think you're pretty active on Instagram. I've kept up with that. Like you're DMing people, you're sending things to people, you're responding to your own. Like where are you playing in that social media space to layer in? Because obviously you got a strategy on calls, you got a strategy on email, but you also seem to have a social strategy that's working pretty well.
Well, with social, for me, it's a little different because, I'm one of these take over the universe kind of guys. And so in a real estate business, in a real estate business on social, you're really just kind of locked into local, for the most part. I mean, you do have those guys who do national campaigns and they have a referral network and they give referrals and they do different things or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, most agents, they're just going after their local market. Okay. So let's just talk there. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, a real estate agent is just going to go after your local market. When you look at a local market, let's even say it's a huge local market. It's 1 million population.
Yep.
Okay. You got 1 million population versus the billions of people on social media, right?
Yeah.
So you got billions with a B on social, but you only got 1 M as in 1 million in your local market. So for me, on social, it's like I want to use social to take over the universe. It's hard for me to really focus on real estate on social because I've already conquered that. I've already climbed that mountain with my phone calls and my weekly email.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is set. Do I use social for real estate? I post some stuff, but I'm not like really trying to strategize. I'm not getting any leads from it. I'm not trying to really do much there. I'm just kind of there just so people know I'm not dead on social media in terms of real estate business. What I'm doing with social is okay, let's go global. Okay. And this is where my coaching business is. I focus on my social for my coaching business. Which is, like you said from the beginning, the first completely free program. And I was talking to some people the other day about coming and doing a session with like 3,000 agents on a Zoom call next week and stuff. And one of the people on there were kind of skeptical. They didn't really know about me. And, she tried to tell me how the free coaching space is crowded and everybody's doing it. Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. And I was like, those guys are not doing everything for free.
No.
They might give away a few things for free. I said, but nobody is telling you and telling you everything they do and giving you everything that they know for free without ever any catch anywhere, without ever no upsells, no ebook later, nothing. There's only one person I can really think of, and that's Gary Vee, that's really not charging for anything. He's just putting out content and really trying to help. So it is something I feel like I'm one of the pioneers in, especially in the real estate industry. And it's worked really well for me because that's a 7-figure business, and it's automatic really. It's got 100 or so agents signing up worldwide every day for it. I mean, it's growing like crazy. So, I use social for that. And my strategy is just post every day on every platform. Post every day on every platform, right? Secret, that's the secret. Post every day on every platform, and everybody's like, well, what do you post? Thing is you don't know what to post if you're not posting.
Amen.
It's chicken and egg thing.
Yes.
Like it's a catch-22. You don't know what to post unless you're posting to figure out what works and what doesn't work. You just start posting stuff. Don't care if it's good, if it's not, like, just start posting it so that like you can get some feedback and you can start to figure out, like, you need to post every day for like 6 months just to start to figure out what you should be posting, how you should be posting, the different formats for the different platforms, what each platform is good for, and so on and so forth. But I think beginners with social media should take one platform and spend several months learning it, posting it, figuring it out before they add to it. So you want to have, one platform and get it down, and then that you got that going, and then add another. Now you got 2 going. Work on it for a couple months and hit the learning curve on that, and then add another, as you feel necessary, as you're learning, as you go along. I didn't just wake up and just start posting on every platform, it was stages, so.
I love that. And I've seen that because you've been very intentional, and that's what we encourage our guys. If you're listening out there to this part, is pick the platform. I went in all on LinkedIn, and to your point, then I kind of layered in some Facebook, and then I started doing Instagram, and now I'm kind of adding Twitter in, and we're going into YouTube. And it's like, okay, but you're right. Like LinkedIn, I look back, I'm like, heck, that's been 10 years of like intentional, and then finding. And I love the way you said this too, is a lot of people get so nervous about what to post. Once you start posting, you find your rhythm, you find your audience, you find what's really you and your voice. And I think that's something you've found, and it's helping agents. And that's what I'm always thinking is, what can I do that can help somebody else out there? It might be one person. It might be 10 people. I don't care. Either way, put it out. And you've served a lot of people. So I got a question for you. Since obviously you work with lenders, and I'm sure our team would love to know, in your opinion, what makes up a great lender in your mind? So after we've made the calls, we've made connections, then as they move forward, what makes up that great lender, and what should we really be aspiring to?
Well, I've got a lot of lenders that try to hit me up, right? All the time. They want to get my business and stuff. And the thing is I have such an incredible relationship with the guy I've done business with for 10 years. This might help. This is, my little story. I got in real estate, and I tried a lot of different lenders, and I would try one because they were nice and we were buddies, and, next thing I know, the deal is completely jacked up, and I'm like, you're done. And so I moved to the next one, and I kind of moved around a little until boom, you find the one that works well with you. You know what I mean? And so, and working well means this. The lender I have now that I've been working with for so long, he tells me up front everything that's going to happen. He can look at the person's situation and he can tell me, okay, we're going to have some problems here. I don't know about this, or this looks great. When he tells me he can do it, I might as well just mark cash on the contract because it is done. You know what I mean? That's how dependable he's been and how honest he is. If a problem comes up, he's telling me ASAP so that we can make adjustments and figure out. Some of the other ones hid the problems, trying to fix the problems. And then 2 weeks later, we can't fix the problem. Now we lost 2 weeks. Now we got to go find another lender. You know what I mean? And we're 2 weeks behind, and it's just a jacked up deal. That happened several times to me. You know what I mean? So I think just staying on top of it, communicating with, treating the clients right, like helping the clients have a really great experience, as they're buying and selling, and me as the agent having a really great experience, knowing that I can depend on the lender, knowing that, I don't have to watch over the lender and check on him and make sure he's doing his job like they should be doing their job. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think in terms also of getting business and trying to get down to where you are that mortgage person for the agent, I think that you just have to just stay available, because here's the thing. A lot of mortgage brokers, they try to force their way into the relationship.
Yeah.
And they try to list lunch, and then they try to do the, just send me some business kind of thing. And then they stay on the agent, they'll follow up and stuff. And it's like, to me, that's a big turnoff. To me, just kind of be there in the background so that if I have a problem with the lender that I am loyal to, then I'll try you out, So it's just like real estate, for when you're approaching an owner, for example. It's like when you approach that owner, you're just trying so hard to set that appointment and to get that listing. That owner is turned off. You're not going to get that listing. You're not, because they're dead set on trying to sell it on their own or whatever at that time. And you keep pressing them, but you're not listening to them. Yep. You're not listening. He's telling you that he's not going to do this right now. And so let's focus on not what we can't do to help them. Let's focus on what we can do to help them. Right. So, okay, cool. Well, what do you're good there. Let me try to help you sell it on your own. And where are you moving to? Let me try to help you buy your next house. Right. And so it's the same thing with mortgage brokers to real estate agents. If they tell you that they have a mortgage broker, listen to them. And then move to something that you can help them with. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know what that item of value could be for you guys, but just staying active. If one thing that I remember about Joey, my guy now, before I used him, I remember that he was in an article. I think it was in the paper or somewhere, and that's when I first heard his name. And it meant something because he was talking my language in that article. I don't even think he knows this or remembers it. I never told him this, but that's what opened my mind up to him as a mortgage broker. And then when everything went wrong with the guy I was working with, I called him and I was like, let's do a deal. And we started doing some deals, and it went really good. We kept going, and it just went really well, and it's been going good for over a decade. So that's my little story.
Well, I love that because it just applies perfectly to what you shared earlier. This is the reason why we should be making calls to people. Is the more calls you make, you just don't know who is going to have guideline changes, can't do that deal, isn't following up during this season, falls off in a month from now. You just don't know. But if you don't have the relationship and you're not next up, we'd always talk about that in sports. If you weren't next up, you're not getting in the game. So you have to be next up.
Exactly.
Those that you're primary, you're their number one, and keep re-earning that business every day, and showing up. I love what you shared. So Ricky, thank you. I know we try to keep these kind of in time, and I appreciate you making time. You give a lot of your time to people, and I would encourage everybody, we sent you some links, is Ricky would be somebody, if you connected up and resonated, you have agents in your local community, I would share his information out, because right now a lot of agents need to hear his message, and you heard it was free training there. So make sure they're connecting up, because a lot of them need that either motivation, direct tactics on how to succeed today. And if we can help more agents succeed in our local markets, we all win, right? Because then they're helping people move and sell and buy and do things they want to do. They just need somebody to guide them through the process. And so Ricky's a great one for that. And man, I appreciate you taking time, dude. I always love your energy, just how you share, just straight from the heart and what's real.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And have those agents go to zero-to-diamond.com. There's the 90-day action plan for agents. Have them, if you're a mortgage guy, you want to bring value to local agents, have them go there, say, look, this guy's got 30,000 agents in his program, is one of the top coaching programs out there, totally free. Go do the 90-day action plan and DM him on Instagram. He answers every DM. Dude's selling 100 properties a year.
Boom. And I would encourage you guys, if you have agents and you really want to go next level, go through that program with them, because there are things that will just correlate right over to what we're doing. Wouldn't it be cool to go find 5 agents or so that you could go through the 90 days with them as a group? So just a little idea to take away and mastermind that through.
Let me ask you this. Can mortgage people call property owners?
Yeah, no reason not to.
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, listen, in my program, there's this program called RedX. Have you heard of it?
I saw when you were talking about it. I don't know what.
Man, listen, you just put an address in the search bar and click search and hit neighborhood, and it gives you all the phone numbers for all the property owners in that neighborhood. Okay, so you can save $150 at zero-to-diamond.com on RedX. Go there and get geo leads. Every mortgage person, I believe, if this is not illegal for the mortgage industry, should go and grab geo leads from RedX and get the dialer while you're there. You just hit a button to start dialing. You do single dial and you pick the exact houses you want to refinance, the exact clients. And when you call these people, don't necessarily be so narrowly blinded towards trying to refinance. Open it up, because these people may want to buy investment properties. They may have, buy a second home somewhere. They may, you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. When you just let the conversation happen and see what happens, you know what I mean? So
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out, and I'll run it through, guys that are on the call. I'll run it through and find out how we can use it, make sure all the compliance boxes are checked and all that fun. I mean, you've dropped some value, and I hope everybody will follow along with you on your journey, because you're definitely somebody, and I appreciate what you're doing in the industry, because it is changing, and that's what we're trying to be, just agents of change in the industry. Things are changing and evolving, and we want to help lead that way. So,
absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the new house, and we'll talk soon.
Subscribe, rate, and review The Brian Covey Show today. Go to briancovey.com.